Good afternoon, Vanessa Webb, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Australia here. I am playing today with one of the online exclusives suites, which is called the Marbled Elegance Suite Collection. And it consists of, firstly, which I think is probably the showstopper of the suite, the beautiful designer series paper. It's called Marbled Elegance, and you can see why from all the beautiful designs with the gold foil throughout. It really catches the light and it looks amazing. And you only need to use a little tiny bit of this for it to have a huge impact. The other side is some plainer designs without the gold foil, but designs that you could use as backgrounds and accents in your scrapbooking and card making and other paper crafting projects. So that's just one of each of the designs there to show you exactly what you get. Probably the thing that drew me to this suite was the paper, but everything else just works so beautifully. So with the set of dies, we do have some gorgeous hearts. We haven't had hearts for a while in our Stampin' Up! Offering, so it's great to have some heart dies. These ones some of them are quite large. We've got these two plus a number of smaller ones, which obviously you can layer them together or use them as standalone embellishments on your cards. Looking forward to being able to play with those. The other thing we have is our heart sequins. Let me just show you these very quickly. They are very pretty, but the thing about these is because they come gold, you can actually colour them. So I have my Poppy Parade Stamp and Blend here. Now let me just colour one of the larger ones so that hopefully you can see it a bit better. Let me just colour this one in. And you will all know that the Stamp and Blends are alcohol-based markers. So when you use them on a shiny surface, they won't rub off once they're dry. So there you go. There's a shiny red Poppy Parade heart. You could colour these purple or pink or blue, whatever other colour you might design to have your heart. So these are very versatile, not just gold. The other thing that you will find is the gold twisted thread. Now this it's actually got 6 strands in it. There's 2 thicker strands woven together and each of those has 3 smaller strands. So you can unravel it and use it as just some really fine thread on your projects as well. I'm going to show you how I've used it on my cards that I'm demonstrating for you today. You've also got 2 different sized gift bags. This is a gift bag combo pack, and these bags are absolutely gorgeous. You can obviously stamp on these. They are plain white, so you can use your blending brushes, stamp your own designs on them. You could even use your heart dies. They will fit on the front either way, and embellish them for Valentine's Day or wedding favours, whatever you like. So they're going to be lots of fun to play with. You'll get 8 of each of the 2 sizes in your bag. So that is, and also the stamp set. Let me just show you the stamp set. You've got the dies pictured there. Obviously you've seen the largest heart and the smallest heart. There's some flowers in the stamp set and corresponding flower dies and leaf dies to go with those. So I'm going to show you how I've played with those. We're going to leave the hearts for another time, maybe closer to Valentine's Day. I needed to make some thank you cards with this suite, so I've concentrated on the flower images. Here I have a piece of basic white cardstock, and so what I'm going to do is come in with those 3 stamps. I've got the flower and the 2 leaves, and I've got Melon Mambo and Pretty in Pink. I have Poppy Parade and Flirty Flamingo. And I also have Pool Party and Coastal Cabana. Now that's for the leaves, because I've decided I'm going to use our Pool Party ribbon with the pom-poms on it. just is a bit of a colour contrast and a bit of variation in the colour. So I'm going to use that on the cards as well. And these cards are really fun to make in bulk because I kind of designed them as I went. I don't know if you design your cards before you make them or you design them on the go. I'm a bit of a design on the go kind of person, and I sort of like to see how my card evolves. So I'm going to use the rock and roll technique with the Pretty in Pink and Melon Mambo. Pretty in Pink, as you know, is one of our new in colours, or it's a returning in colour. I'm going to stamp it once, full strength. And I'm also going to stamp it off each time, and I'll use those on another project because, yeah, you can use the paler ones as well. I'll just give you a quick clean. You can use the paler images just to have a bit of a contrast, a bit of light and shade on your card. So the next one I'm going to use is the Flirty Flamingo. I'll just put those ones to the side over here. Flirty Flamingo. And Poppy Parade. So these are sort of a warmer colour combination. And again, I'm going to stamp once and then stamp again. Stamping off. And so see how you've got two shades of the one colour of each of those. And they will coordinate beautifully with our paper. So see how you've got Flirty Flamingo, Melon Mambo, Pretty in Pink, and the red just kind of, I think, provides a little bit more of a pop. There's a little bit of Poppy Parade in some of, some of the designer series paper. I think you'll see some in there. Yeah, so that's some of the red coming through. So there's lots of combinations of all of those colours, and that's all going to go with whatever background paper we decide to use. Now I would go ahead and stamp the leaves as well. So let me just show you how I did the leaves. They're both the same. So we've got Coastal Cabana, which is the darker one, and we've got Pool Party, which is the lighter one. So rocking and rolling, you probably saw how I did that just before. You're going to stamp in the lighter one, fully stamp, and then just roll your stamp in the darker and then stamp it down. And you'll get a lovely two-tone effect. Just like I did with the flowers. It looks really nice on the leaves too, even though they're not a round shape, you can still see that mixture of colour there. So yeah, the only rule with rock and roll is go into the lighter colour first and then into the darker, and then you won't contaminate your lighter colour ink pad. That's the general rule. All right, so I would then go ahead and cut those out using the corresponding dies, and I've already done that. So I've got my my two flowers and my two leaves just there, and I'll put them to the side there. I've also got a selection of the designer series paper. So I've got three different sizes. I've kind of cut them 10 centimeters by whatever length I wanted them to have, so that they basically all fit onto. So this one's about 10 by 10, I think, from memory. This one's about 10 by 2 centimeters, going with centimeters. This one's about 10 by 3. So you'll be able to apply them to your project. Now what I do is I kind of stick them together first. So I lay them out on my project. This is how I know how far to space them out. And I've got this one here. Just check that this one doesn't go this way, because it might be slightly, that's better. That's fitting a little bit better. Maybe it's 10 by 9 3/4 or something. 10 by 10 should be fine. And then with this one, which is going to straddle them, I'm just going to put a strip of glue at either end, and then I'm going to line them up so they're straight, and I'll glue them together just using that strip that's got the adhesive like that. And then you can see how that's going to fit perfectly. If I slide it up, you can see how that's going to fit perfectly on my card. Before I put it on, there's the back. Before I put it on, I'm going to adhere some of our Pool Party pom-pom ribbon, and I need some glue dots for that. So let me just grab a glue dot for either end. If the ribbon pops up a little bit in the middle, don't worry, you're going to be applying some extra embellishments over the top. So I just like to tuck the ribbon behind each end like that, and then that's a nice little bit of contrast there. I love those pom-poms. I love the texture of this ribbon. It's just gorgeous. Okay, now that's ready to go on the card. Let me apply the glue straight to the back. You can pop some on the ribbon so that sort of sticks down. You don't need too much glue though. Less is more with our Tombow glue, as you would know. It's very, very strong. Just make sure all the corners are pressed down so that it's as flat as possible. You might even want to sit it under something a little bit heavier while you're applying the adhesive to the back of your embellishment. So let me put that to the side to dry for a bit. And then with our flowers and our leaves, on the back of the flowers, we need to pop some Stampin' Dimensionals. And I put about 3 on the back of each. So I'm using the mini dimensionals. You actually get more of these on a sheet. I love them. They're so economical. And you can use the surround. So once you've finished all your dimensionals, this surround is actually great for shaker cards because you've got a nice straight edge there. That you can use with your window sheets and whatever shaker embellishments you're putting into your shaker card. So keep all the surrounds, save them up, and you can even cut them up and use them as little dimensionals. And you can custom size them to match, like a long strip, for example. It's really easy to do that. All right, I've exposed those now, and I'm going to bring in my my card base with background. First things I'm going to do is just lightly adhere them. I'm not going to press down too hard, and you'll see why in a minute. Just going to lightly adhere them just to the top there, very lightly. And then I'm going to use my Tombow glue again, just a tiny, tiny bit of glue. It's probably a bit much, so I'm going to apply it to the other one. And there's the first one, and there's the second one. And then we didn't stick those down too tightly because we're going to use some of that beautiful gold thread. As I said, you can unwind it. So what I've done here is I've actually unwound one of the threads, one of the 2 threads that you'll see. And then in each of those, there are 3 threads. So you just keep twisting in the opposite way and you'll find that they come apart. And then the 3 threads are actually part of one of those. So there you can see them there. So I'm going to roll those up and use those dimensionals that I already have underneath my flowers just to adhere that. So you're just wanting a touch of sparkle on there, and look, it doesn't really matter how it falls. You can arrange it however you like, but I really like it's kind of a messy look. I like just having a hint of that gold thread. Now for our greeting, I decided that I would use some embossing. So I love heat embossing. You probably know that already if you've watched my videos over the years, you'll know that I always go to heat embossing as one of the ways to add a little bit of a wow factor to my cards. This is an old stamp from an older stamp set called Irresistible Blooms. I think it's still available in the online store, in the online exclusives. And we're using the thank you because, as I said, I'm making some thank you cards. I'm thanking my lovely customers for their orders last month. So I've got my Versamark, and I'm just going to ink that up. Just make sure it's really wet and apply it to the paper. Just down in the corner there. I like how the paper's already got little flecks of gold. So this is just a little touch more gold in the greeting on the front, and it all blends in really, really well. So there you go, there's my powder, and I'm just going to heat that. There we go, that looks great. So if we it gets a bit bendy, just bend it back while it's still warm, and your card should lie flat again. So there is my card. I actually have used the other designer series paper too, the one that's got a little bit more of the the Poppy Parade, as I said. You'll see a touch of that real red Poppy Parade. And there's my greeting down there. And with this one, I've used the rose paper instead of the stripes as the background. So you'll see just a slight difference between those two. Another little tip with this ribbon, I don't know if you realise, is that you can in fact colour it. So it comes as Pool Party, because it's a nice light colour. You can use any of your darker Stamp and Blend colours. So I've used Poppy Parade there, which would go nicely with this paper as well. But I'm thinking if you want of a bit more of a traditional Christmas feel on your cards, that's a great way to colour your ribbon. It's very easy. You just run it down really lightly and it just soaks up all that colour. And it's permanent because it is alcohol-based marker. It's an alcohol-based Stamp and Blend, not a water-based one. So yeah, that's a little tip for you as well. I hope you enjoyed this little video and it's inspired you to use some of our new online exclusive products. And yeah, enjoy making your thank you cards, your Christmas cards with this gorgeous new suite. And I will be back to show you some more later. Thanks for watching. Bye.